G'day everyone, welcome back to Zero Access Footy. Today we've got episode number 40, the final one of season 2025. I'm looking a bit different than usual. Thank God this is the last episode. So you've only got this one to see how bad it really is. Hopefully by the time we start up season 2, I'll start looking a bit better. Fingers crossed.
It's not going to happen.
Of course, that is not the most important football news, although it is quite important.
It's not football news at all.
It is football news. I'm saying it is.
Okay.
I'm putting my foot down and putting it on the top of the agenda. But North Melbourne have gone back-to-back in the AFLW. I wanted to point that out because I love the Roo girls. They're doing much better than the Roo men. So I'm very, very happy about that. Got to go to that game and it was good fun. But of course, today we are here to do everything way, way too early. We've had our fun doing our draft. And we've had our fun with all those. But now, as we head into our proper off-season, we're going to go ahead and have a look as to who we think will finish the season 2026 on the top of the ladder. And a few of our awards for 2026 as well. So way, way too early. Like literally a year on from now type of awards. So what else do we do best, man? That's the best stuff that we do.
It doesn't matter what we get wrong. It only matters what we get right.
Exactly right. That's 100% correct. God, you're smart. Anyways, let's have a look at what our 2026 AFL ladder is going to look like. So we're going to be starting this one from 18th all the way up to 1st. We'll give small explanations as to each spot and why we see them at their spot, falling, rising, whatever it may be. And we're going to start off with 18, which I don't think we'll be on the same page for this one, but it would also not surprise me if we were. Number 18 for me. Oh no, it's happening again.
West Coast.
Number 18 for me is West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both went West Coast again.
I thought about changing it, but
I did too. I really did.
I think there'll be a better 18th place team.
Hopefully not a one-win last place, but like they're still a bit too young.
Mm-hmm.
Lose a few players who they could have relied on, but also gain a few. And I'm thinking, will Starcevic be the one that puts them over the top?
It certainly won't hurt. I think getting in Baker and Graham last year, getting in Starcevic this year, getting in Tyler Young as well, and then obviously the younger players coming through, I think it'll certainly help. They're now getting more talented. They weren't getting in talent aside from like Harley Reid being the number one.
Yeah.
Like it was very much just one player. They weren't getting in lots. Now they're getting in lots. I think it slightly helps them, but not enough to get them out of.
Exactly
18th.
right. You hope that for West Coast, this is the last year of being pretty poor.
Yeah.
That's the hope at the very least because, they've been on the bottom for quite some time now. They have their premiership to make it feel a little better, but I think they're ready to get over the hump. 17 for me. I have put in Melbourne. I think while there are like ideas that they could be better, I'd like to think that they try and utilize their younger players more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in Brody Mychek is pretty good. Like, it's going to help them, I reckon, a fair bit having another forward target, and that isn't Harrison Petty. But I don't know how much you can rely on that really getting you out of the bottom four at the very least. Cozzy will be a fantastic talent. He'll be one that you try to keep in and give as much keys to the kingdom as you can, but the likes of Harvey Langford, their 2 picks, and Latrell Pickett and Xavier Taylor, they should absolutely get as many minutes as they possibly can, along with Xavier Lindsay from last year. Get all your young blokes going, as well as those genuine stars, and I reckon you're on the right path. But I still think they're a second last side, despite them having a little bit of talent in there.
With the amount of talent that they've lost is the concern. I've got Richmond at 17, but I do have Melbourne at 16. I understand every point you said. I agree with pretty much all of them.
Why Richmond
I just
17?
think Richmond are going to be below them because I think the top end talent Melbourne still have will be enough to win them some games. I think they'll be better than the teams below them. Whereas Richmond, I still feel like regardless, they might be better against the better teams, but they won't win those games. I just think Melbourne are going to be able to win more games.
Polished.
And they've already got a bit more polish. I think Richmond, there's going to be an expectation that some of these older guys, that there's still a fair few of them, they're going to drop off. And I feel like some of that might happen a bit quicker than what they might have expected.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's fine. For 16 for me, I've got Essendon.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm kind of on the same road with it in Melbourne, right? I actually think 16, or bottom 4 at the very least, would probably be good for them. I think one more year of grabbing in some extra pieces on top of all that they pulled in. Jacob Farrow, Sullivan Roby, and Dyson Sharp are 3 players that I really like, especially Farrow. and Sharp. I think those two are kind of 1A, 1B, but Farrow's purely for positional reasons. Sharp because of his leadership tendencies. He's already said from day one he wants to be a leader at this club. Clearly shows that he's all in and invested, which is fantastic. But
be fucking jokes if they give him captaincy from day one.
It'd
be so funny.
Oh my God, could you imagine? The most likely candidate is Andrew McGrath, I think. Yeah, I think he's most likely going to get the captaincy role. But it's exciting to have 3 young players enter the system from day dot.
Yeah.
You just hope that it's going to be a lower end of amount of new players rather than the ridiculous amount they had last year.
Yeah.
They would be more than happy to keep it at 3 first gamers. Those 3 particularly. Maybe add a couple more. Max Kondianis was one that I remember you talking a lot about. He has a lot of upside. So there's players that they definitely want to blood, but my God, after last year, not many more you really would want to. You'd like to see them on the lower end this year.
I've got them at 15. I think, pretty much for the most part, they're still relatively young.
Yeah.
Like they're still rebuilding a lot of that core that they want to get around.
And the fact that Martin's already ruled out 2026.
I was just about to say, I would have potentially had them high because I really like what they've done, honestly, this offseason. They've still kept merit, so it's not like there's a huge hole in that midfield. But because of the fact they don't have a lot of these players from injuries, there's so much unsurety of what's happening. It's really hard to put them any higher, and that's why I've got them 15th.
Yeah, I still am very iffy about the merit stuff because, like, I think if Merritt was out of the club and they had brought in some of the picks that Hawthorn were offering with that trade, they could have used it maybe. I mean, it depends on really what Roby and Sharp and Farrell end up being like, but they could have used any of those picks to trade up and get a like of, because I'm sure they would have loved CDT.
Anyway, who is your 15?
15 for me was Port Adelaide.
Really? So you still don't have Richmond?
I still don't have Richmond.
Wow.
So Port Adelaide are another team that have had to deal with injuries a lot last season. Not to say that it's going to carry over again, but now they've still got their obvious holes. Like the back line is still one of those really sketchy ones that you're always going to look at. You've got your Elias who can stay solid. Lockie Jones had some decent games, but I mean Radicalea, Zerk Thatcher, sorry. There's still those holes out there. You look in the forward line, Georgiades was really the only one that stepped up. And also under a new coach. The idea is, new coaches and what, do you win your first game? Do you win your first season?
Yeah.
That's not really the common goal. You'd like to see some improvement. I don't know whether it happens this year though.
Yeah.
And with the likes of Butters potentially being out, this definitely is worst case scenario for them, but way too early prediction. Sometimes you got to make those bold calls. I think Port Adelaide are in there.
Yeah. I've got Port at 14.
Yeah.
Just slightly out of the bottom 4, but it's nothing to celebrate. As you said, first year for the coach is going to be tough, whether it actually was his first year. I reckon he would have done a fair bit of coaching last year.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're still doing it for Ken Hinkley.
Yeah.
Ken Hinkley's still around.
He's just he doesn't have as many tools as other clubs. Like I'd argue North Melbourne, who I have above them. I'd argue that Clarko has a lot more tools. I'd argue GWS has more tools. I'd argue Adelaide has more tools. I'd argue St Kilda has more tools. Some of these teams, I think they have more tools around them for Carr to be able to play with. And also the fact that players are going to be missing. Sam Palpeva is not going to be able to play. We don't know what the situation around Jason Horne-Francis is going to be. It's just there's not a lot going on, and I still think their key position players are lacking significantly. And when you don't have that ability at either end of the ground, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be bad enough to be finishing bottom 4, but I also don't think they're going to be good enough for Zach Butters to stay.
I've got Richmond at 14. Here we go. They finally show up. Again, like last year, were overachievers and a half despite second place. To get 5 wins was something no one expected. And there's maybe other years where 5 wins could have seen them higher than second last. But, of course, reality is they were there. I'd like to think with a year under their belt and a bit more experience, like these younger blokes are now going to have a year under their belt. They know what the process is. They get another off-season, a full off-season from start to finish with them. The new blood that they're bringing in with Sam Grill. I know how much you love Sam Grill. And the other one, why am I forgetting? Sam Cumming, that's right. Those two are coming in to be even more fresh blood, some real hard runners that are going to create, I think, a really exciting front, like almost orange tsunami type scenario where they're able to book it from one end to the other and really rely on momentum.
You saw with their system how much they wanted to rely on their handball game to get the ball going forward. It's kind of similar.
Exactly right. And so I see Richmond continuing this overachieving trend. Adam Uze seems to have these guys in a really, really good strut right now. They seem to really feed off of what he's giving them. Vlosten is one that I don't think he'll fall off per se this year. You may see some visible change to his game as he gets a little bit older and these younger blokes kind of are growing and getting better. But with the amount of young blokes they brought in for season 1 last year, the fact that many players are getting the off season, hopefully come back healthy. You've got Sam Lawler, who definitely was a massive spark. I'd like to see improvement from Ryan Mansell. Seth Campbell was surprisingly consistent.
There's a fairly good young core there.
There's some good stuff there, and I really do see them overachieving once again. But obviously to 14th, it's nothing crazy. But considering other teams are likely to be more on the back foot, Richmond look like they're more on the front foot, and I see them rising a bit.
Okay. Well, from a team that sort of just started their rebuild, to a team hopefully exiting their rebuild, got North Melbourne at 13.
Yeah. God, I hope we're exiting. I really, really do. It would be nice to see over 5. If we can get an improvement on our wins again.
Yeah.
I don't know how many we'd see at 12. Or at 13. How many would you see at 13?
We'll talk about a little video about that later.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. That will come out shortly. Should be on the Friday, actually. Should be that release. But for me, North Melbourne, the amount of young players that they've got, I think is now being complemented by some of these more experienced guys, and some of the players from the start of the rebuild are now hitting their prime.
Yeah.
Players like LDU, players like Tristan Cherry, Nick Larkey, Paul Curtis, we saw the breakout last year. Cam Zerha should now be thriving in that role where he doesn't have to be a second tall. I think you're now getting complemented by these younger guys like Colby McKercher, like what you're going to have with Jack Whitlock, like what you're going to have with all these younger players coming through.
Matt Whitlock.
I can't remember which.
Yeah, it's all right. They're both similar.
Yeah. I think there's now a core, and Clarko should instill something to the point where they're not going to be battered by 70 points.
Yeah, let's hope so at the very least.
And so I think an expectation for you guys is to not lose by 60 points. But I think there should be something where you're pushing for 10 wins. And I just think with players hitting their prime, things now starting to gel with this new system, it should be a sign that you need to get out of the bottom 4 at a bare minimum.
Yeah, 100%. Clarko's seat would be way on fire if they're not out of the bottom 4 at the very least. Some visible improvement, not just on the field, but on the ladder is definitely what they need to be. And I think for what you had them at 13th, that would be it. That 13. Would be something close. I put Carlton at 13.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how these guys turn out because I like what they did. They brought in a lot.
They're one of the hardest teams for me to see where they're going to be.
100%. But a lot of that is relying on the likes of Will Hayward and Ollie Florent to really step up in new roles. Jagger Smith to come in and become an instant impact. Who did they get from
Ben Ainsworth.
Harry Dean.
Harry Dean they got from the draft.
So there's some nice additions. Obviously the big one being Charlie Curnow going, but the likes of Cripps, your Brownlow, your 2-time Brownlow medalist is still there. Sam Walsh, who we know what his ceiling is like. There's so much potential with this team. Losing TDK and Jack Silvani would hurt, but at the same time, there's still really nice pieces. And hey, Mark Pitnet did hold his own for some time in his games. Obviously not to the degree that you'd hope for compared to a Tom de Koning at his very best, but Mark Pitnet can do his thing occasionally. You just hope that
he's not.
You
the
just
style
hope that
of
Carlton
Rocken.
don't put Paddy Cripps in the ruck.
He's also just not the style of Rocken you want anymore. But I have them in 12th. I have Carlton in 12th. I just think their exits, when you consider the total outcomings in this offseason, they lost a lot more talent than they got in.
Yeah.
And so I don't see them improving, but I also don't think that they're going to get worse because I think there's a bit of a gap here, I think, between the top 12 and the bottom 6. So I think Carlton, because they've got so many top-end talent still, I just think they're now complementing some of that with the younger talent. It's going to set them up better for the future, but they're going to have to sit in the middle for a little bit.
Could this team possibly be either entering a rebuild or...
They're retooling.
Retooling, I think, is the best word because, I don't see them bottoming it out anytime soon unless they are absolutely injured to hell and back. But Carlton themselves, I think, have a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely.
It's just not going to happen immediately.
Yeah.
I put North at 12.
Okay.
So one spot above you. Not as extreme as last year, where I put them at
Mhm.
10. 10 would also mean they're technically playing a final, which is
Yep.
insane to think about.
Well, a final,
A
a wild
final,
card round.
exactly right. But North at 12, again, it's the time to finally, like, if it wasn't going to happen last year, it's got to happen this year.
Mhm.
You've brought in Lockie Doverson and Blake Threadgold, who I think, especially Blake, I think Blake's going to get some time fairly soon into the season. Same goes with Lockie Doverson. I'd like to see him get a game, hell, even round 1, to try and get him involved in that forward line, see if he's a spark plug of some description, because Paul Curtis seems to be the consistent one. If Doverson can find some moments here and there to take advantage, because I think that forward line is pretty talented, and that was my fear with him entering, but that's just the draft. If we're talking outside of that, the obvious hole is the back line. That's where this team's going to live or die.
Yeah.
I don't think the question is going to be whether they can keep up offensively with teams. It's going to be if they can stop teams defensively. And that's not anything new.
Part of that is also coaching.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the way this team was structured as well last year, like Colby McKercher and Caleb Daniel as both your half-backs,
Yuck.
basically you've got free entries from the 45s,
Yep.
it felt like. So
Yep.
that was a really, really tough watch every single time. I wish we got peak Caleb Daniel, where he justified his playing time with how good he was as a kick. He's just not that anymore. He just isn't, and it's really frustrating. But the hope is that the likes of Voss can take another step up. The hope is that...
Yeah, I mentioned those younger players.
Yeah,
we
those
know
younger
who they
players.
are. We
Exactly
know who
right.
they
This
are.
team has built their identity
Yeah,
now. If they are to be successful within the next 5 years, this is going to be the team to do it.
Yeah.
If they don't see it in the next 2, there's going to be major shifts, I reckon.
GWS, I have at 11,
Okay.
falling all the way out, even of the wild card.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think part of it will be due to the Oliver situation. I think they're going to maybe understand it wasn't the right decision. I also think when you consider a lot of their talent is now falling to the latter stages of their career. You consider Josh Kelly, he's going to be out for most of the year. Lockie Whitfield, we already saw he's not going to be at his best. We've seen Buckley, we've seen Taylor, we've seen Himmelberg all struggle, especially with injuries over the last couple seasons. And then you look up forward, Jake Stringer's not going to be able to provide an impact. You haven't seen a breakout from Callum Brown or Jake Riccardi recently. Jesse Hogan still is
Jones.
still there. Darcy Jones is going to be out for the entire year. We haven't seen Brent Daniels for basically 2 years now. I think there are a lot of questions that are continuing to pile up for me with GWS.
Yeah.
And that I just don't have any trust in them anymore.
I've put Collingwood at 11. Maybe a bit of a hate watch. But it's the likelihood of we saw a bit of a drop off.
Yeah.
Thankfully for them, they managed to pip that home prelim from Adelaide, a really inexperienced finals side in Adelaide. Collingwood just looked a more confident team, and who knows, maybe we see that confidence and the likes of the Dacosses and their usuals really push them back into top 4 contention. But it's everything around them at this point for me. The inconsistencies of some of their younger blokes, like the Ned Longs, like even the ones who aren't getting games all that often. Ed Allen, like usually you're always so big on the structure of Collingwood, but even Ed has struggled, who was a decently high pick. I've already mentioned Ned Long.
Sullivan's another one.
Yeah. There's those younger blokes who you don't really hear about because the likes of Pendles, the likes of Chris, Sidebottom, they're still relying on them. They're still giving great output. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to come down to we're either going to see first half 2025 or second half 2025 Collingwood, and I'm leaning towards the second half. But don't get me wrong, I could be very wrong. I could be very, very wrong, and I honestly expect to be, because them not even making the wild card would be very surprising.
It'd be a big drop off.
But you know what? It's way too early, baby.
Who do you have in your first wild card spot?
I put GWS there.
Okay.
Kind
So
of similar reasons.
range.
Yeah. They're already dealing with so many out. Dude, they had the first free agent move, and it was Jaden Laverde. I'm like, oh my God. Why have you decided to poach Essendon? You took Stringer from them, and now Laverde. You somehow got some good out of Stringer. Good on you. You've utilized the package. Well done. You even picked him back up in the rookie draft. But, so many question marks with their off-season, and that's without all the injuries on top. Hearing Josh Kelly out for the season was awful. Hearing Darcy Jones out for the season was awful. Those are my two favourite players for GWS, both done for the season. awful already.
Rip bozos.
You just got to hope that the likes of Callahan takes another step up. Oliver creates a role that allows Tom Green to absolutely smash it. Whitfield can find a role that doesn't mean he needs to be relied on in an individual sense so much, because he can gather disposals and all that, but he's not doing much more than that nowadays, and he still gets considerations for AAs because of how high his disposal count can get sometimes. He is impactful in a way as well, but not one of those halfbacks who gets on the scoreboard all that much either. So you're kind of limited in how much you do there. Lockie Ash had a good season. Will that look any better? It's all question marks. And so GWS, I've got them in the last spot of the wild card, but we're both in agreement. They're falling.
Adelaide for me is at 10.
You have told me
They
this
got
before.
so lucky that the wild card got introduced, because they would have been out of finals, and they got saved by the bell. I just think there were so many insanely good seasons last year that just won't continue. I don't think Mark Keane's going to be an AA contender. I don't think Josh Worrell will be an AA contender, even though I said he would be last year. I'm tipping the opposite this year.
Wow, he's going to hate you. He's going to hate you if this.
I don't care about him, to be honest. Really, I don't think there's enough ball use in that team. And when we're looking at a transition basis league, they are not that. They are a crash and bash. They are a physical. They are a long ball use team. They don't have many good ball users off the back line, nor heading into the forward line. I also think the questions around Rankin and Dawson, his finals performance is really poor. There are a lot of questions similar to GWS that I don't think are going to be answered. And I think part of that is their list build.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, what do you mean by when you say, is this team doing... Like, how is Mark Keane not going to have a great... Well, he's just going to get beaten one-on-one more often? Same with Josh Worrell?
Yeah, I think the jump we saw was so significant that it cannot happen again.
But it looked more like a game plan. That's the thing. If it was genuinely just their skill level...
That's what I was saying with the transition. I don't think they're going to be able to hold up against other teams moving the ball, meaning they're going to have more entries against them, meaning there's going to be better entries against them.
I'm just trying to think, is this because teams are going to work out how to play against Adelaide? Is this going to be because...
Teams already worked out how to play Adelaide. There's not a thing where it's like Brisbane where, okay, you can work it out, but they're still going to... Or they'll still go through you anyway because they're that good. Adelaide are not that good.
Okay.
Adelaide don't have the ability to pull out a kick. They don't have those ball users.
All right. No worries. That's fair. I mean, I can see it. I can definitely see a world where Adelaide drop off after a straight set exit in a little bit of a disappointing fashion, but I've got a little bit more faith in them. I've put the Dogs at 9.
Okay.
Definition of mid. I've said it last year
and it worked out.
I'm doing it again because that's exactly what the Dogs are.
Yeah.
They are so offensively loaded. They are going to smash teams with poor defenses. The Norths, the Essendons, the Melbournes even, especially the West Coast, they're going to absolutely run through them. But it's teams who can hold up on them, like the top 8 from last year, outside of GWS for some reason. But every team with a respectable defense. Hell, I think Carlton could manage to beat them at some point, at many points this season. They've got youngsters who look ready to go. Nick Haynes and Ollie Hollands, I do think...
Why are you talking about Carlton?
Because I'm talking just in comparison with the Dogs.
No, talk about Bulldogs.
Okay, just in general. The Dogs will be beaten by teams that aren't that are good defensively. Basic point. I only wanted to bring up Carlton because they're a team that I put lower that could beat them. Either way, definition of mid.
Thank you. I appreciate that. 9 for me is Collingwood. Suck it. They're not in the top 8, Ethan.
You put him right on 9. God, I hate that the wild card got introduced. This wild card
just sucks. It would have been so good if they finished 9th. Could you imagine? Whatever. Topic for another day. Collingwood for me, again, age is going to be really tough. I don't think Elliott sustains his ability to kick 60 goals basically in a year again, as close to as he did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think them getting in Jack Buller replaces what Brody Myercheck was going to be able to do. I also don't think Jeremy Howe is going to be able to be 13-3 when he was there. Like, I just don't think that holds up. There are just some things fading away too quickly compared to them replenishing it.
Yep.
That's the way I see it.
Agreed.
Also didn't really improve in the offseason. Like, they only got in Jack Buller.
Yeah.
It's nothing else.
I've put Freo at 8.
Wow.
So I do like the direction they're heading, but again, it's just the lack of genuine improvement outside of Judd McVee. Judd McVee, I am going to mention him somewhat a bit later, but Judd McVee is a really... I think it's going to be effective, but to what degree? What degree will he be effective? So I really like what they've got going on for the most part. It's just more the fact I don't think it's going to be enough to get them above the teams that are there in front of them. I think the others are too talented, too well-structured, like single reasons for each team, but they're not... They're like above average. They're just an above average side that looks to make things competitive and come in with a shock.
Well, we'll talk about them in a little bit. For me, 8 for me is St Kilda. Not able to get out of the play-in, but still technically making finals. Lots of additions. Going to be some growing pains. I think we're starting to see some injuries building up. TDK had a calf issue. Apparently, Jack Silvani had a groin issue, so there might be some things there. But I think given that over the last couple of years they've had the younger players be able to fill, with Tom DeConing, you didn't get rid of Rowan Marshall, and you've had Alex Dodson debut, so you can go a bit taller, and you've had Anthony Caminiti be there, so you can do that. Or if someone like Jack Silvani goes down, you've had Alex Tyree play, so you've got someone to be able to immediately replace them. I think that's where they're now going to be able to build. So regardless of the amount of injuries, they've got the people to be able to replace it. It's just going to be some growing pains if they're all there.
Yeah,
that's my only concern. If the injuries do stack up, you're just going to be really young, and then if there are going to be there's going to be some growing pains. That's why I can't have them too high.
Fair. I've put Hawthorn at 7, so they have the final play-in spot.
Yeah.
The wild card spot. They are a team that seems to thrive on finals performances as of very recent. I don't see it as a surprise if they were to get a bit higher than this, but I'm just thinking their reliance is a lot on these, like, of their high-end players. So we're going to need to see the likes of Will Day stay consistently healthy for long terms. The Nick Watson experiment to really pan out well. Ollie Greaves would be really interesting to see when he gets his minutes, if he gets his minutes, whatever it may be, because obviously pre-draft, didn't get drafted, was taken afterwards. So Hawthorn with a nice steal there. I'm just trying to think, do they get a Josh Battle All-Australian season? Arguably that he didn't have one when he did win an All-Australian, as some people would say.
If I speak, I'm in trouble.
But Hawthorn are always a threat. We always have known that. It's going to be really, really exciting to see if they hit or miss on this spot. But I don't see them falling any lower than 8 at the moment. I just think too much talent, too much reliance, too much consistency to be any lower than 8.
I have Geelong at 7. I think there are some elements there that I think will slightly drop off, but I also think there's going to be some stuff that will keep them up there. Chris Scott, fabulous coach. We know he'll be able to change things in and out. I think their midfield will have some growing pains, and I also think their ruck issues will only compound that. And then I think defensively they should be fine. Forward half they should be fine. I just think it's that midfield that will continue to make them struggle. But we know what Geelong are.
Yeah. That's why I've got Geelong 6, pretty much. I do expect to fall off.
From what you said with Hawthorn, that's why I have them 6th.
Yeah. I put Geelong at 6 purely because I expect a bit of a grand final fall off. Not as much as Sydney, because Sydney were riddled by injuries. And they also didn't have the depth to hold up with the injuries. I think Geelong, for the most part, does. There's some areas where you're like, not too sure about that. Like if Mark Blitzars were to go down, then you'd start seeing Sam DeConing into the ruck, and that's where things start to get a bit interesting. But Geelong, you hit all the points. Chris Scott, fantastic. Midfield, talented, but could go wrong. Yeah. I have thought that Bailey Smith could potentially, really stop the rest of the midfield group from thriving, but that's probably my main worry, and maybe not even that big a deal because he'll still get his possessions. I'm just interested to see how they respond to such a poor end of season, poor final day. Really interested. Let's see if they fight back.
Yeah, my points from Hawthorn are pretty much the same. I think their system will bank them in the top 8, and then their flexibility in trying to find a replacement for not having Zach Merritt, I think will give them a bit of versatility throughout the year, but I also just don't think there's a consistent answer. So against the good teams, they might struggle, but against the lesser teams, they'll be able to play around with things.
Yeah, you're going to love this. I've put St Kilda at 5.
It's very high.
I think they have a late season surge.
Very high.
I think they hover around like that mid pack, like a wild card group, and then things are going to click. Things are going to really click because I'm looking at their squad and I see pillars. I see the likes of Tom DeConing and Rowan Marshall holding up that ruck kind of duel going on in there so that they both give each other that little bit of rest. If all things are good, they've got the pillars in Max King and who else did they bring in? I'm forgetting someone else, but either way, I think they're really solid down forward. Jack Higgins. Why have I forgotten Jack Higgins? They've got those guys to rely on. You go back, Callum Wilkie. Alex Taru, I think, is set for a really big season. I'm really excited to see what he can do because from the times I saw him play, I'm like, Jesus, that kid has talent bursting from the seams. I see a lot of really exciting aspects. I think while it's not going to click straight away, this team could really find something, some magic maybe at the end of the season. I think that's best case scenario for St Kilda, and I've got them doing it here.
My fifth, finishing just outside the top four for what would have been the first time ever, Gold Coast.
Ooh.
When you speak about talent bursting from the seams,
Yeah.
Gold Coast are that and more.
Yep.
But they're still very young.
Yeah, they are.
And there are still some things where are we going to see a 3-tall setup down back with Collins, Andrew, and Ballard? Or are we going to see just the two of them with Ballard potentially playing in the twos? Are we going to see Ned Moyle maybe potentially replace Jared Witt slowly throughout the year as someone for the future because Witt is getting older?
Yeah.
What is the key position forward going to look like? Because is it going to be King and Walter? Is it going to be King and Reid? Is it going to be King and Ugle-Hagan? Is it going to be 3 of those? Is it going to be 4 of those?
Yeah.
We have no idea. But what we do know is there is talent everywhere and they will be good.
Yep.
It's just how good.
Exactly right. Pretty much spot on there. I've got a bit more faith in them. But I've just realised, oh my God, I am so stupid. I've put Geelong twice. Who did I not have? I've got Geelong at
Sydney?
4. Yeah, Sydney. That's right. It was meant to be Sydney. I have Sydney in the top 4. I've written Geelong here again, but Sydney is the last one that I for some reason forgot. But I have mentioned this plenty of times. I think they are on the rise. I think top 4 is more than possible.
Sydney?
For Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got them in the top 4 purely based off the fact that last year they were so riddled by injury and they showed the signs of beating the best of the best towards the end of the year. Their win against Brisbane, fantastic. They lost, Jack Buller?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Now Charlie Curno's in to save the day.
Will Hayward, God forbid.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone
The
who's gonna
likes of
kick
Will
70
Hayward and
goals.
Ollie Florent being gone. Sure, Will Hayward was good, but you're going to take Charlie Curnow in that.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, they kind of need to be good because they've given away some picks to
Given away all their picks.
Exactly
They don't
right.
have any.
They need to be good. So this is necessary at the very least from Sydney. We know they have the talent. Let's see if they do it.
My team at number 4 is the West Coast Eagles. I'm joking. It's the Western Bulldogs.
I was going to say, what the hell?
The Western Bulldogs
That's a big leap
climb into number 4.
from the definition of mid to top 4 bound. You think
Mm-hmm.
they work it out?
I just think whether they work it out or not, I don't care. They've got Marcus Montempelli and Ed Richards, and they've got Aaron Norton and Sam Darcy. They are the definition of unstoppable on their day.
I just want to say, you being this high on Aaron Norton is like a complete 360
With
from
Sam
6
Darcy.
months ago.
With Sam Darcy.
With Sam Darcy, I get it. But Aaron Norton, you had said is so overrated. And now you're here saying it like he's on par with Sam Darcy.
No.
I know what you're saying.
No.
I know what you're saying, but
If
you're getting
they kick-
hyped about Aaron Norton.
If they kick 120 goals, 95 of those would have been created from Sam Darcy.
yeah, exactly.
It might be
right.
50-70, but 95 of them would be created by Sam Darcy.
Oh,
okay?
100%.
They're getting Cody Waitman back. They've had Riley West had a great season. Tim English has been phenomenal as well. I think they're now starting to piece things together, except for the fact that their defense is still shit.
How do you
But-
justify them being top 4, though, without that?
But they will get an easy draw. And when you consider the fact that they are just unstoppable, teams won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, but we saw against Freo what they're like when they are beaten from the middle. Then you don't have to stop them
But
in the
their
forward
middle-
line
but their
because they're
middle is-
being stopped in the middle.
But their middle is insane. Joel Frazier will only get better. Riley
Freo
Sanders
beat
will
them.
only be better. Freo lost to Gold Coast.
That doesn't matter. Gold Coast is top 4.
Yeah, I'm speaking about.
fifth, sorry.
No, I have Fremantle in 3rd anyway.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. No, that's all right.
So regardless, Fremantle is still better. Yeah, I mean talent across all lines. What more do you want? didn't need to get too much better because they're already that good. Got in John McVie. Whether he provides enough ball use is my question. I don't think Adam Swade is going to be Murphy Reid. Can people stop with that comparison?
Yeah.
It is not happening.
People need to understand there's a reason so many scouts were really, really worried about this draft and calling it like people got offended when you said people were calling it a 0 draft, like as in a 0 out of 10.
I said in comparison.
Exactly right. You're thinking of the 2021 draft, whatever one that had Sam Darcy, Nick Dacos, Horn Francis, 21, right? That's a 10 out of 10, right? And you saw how much talent there was at the top. Like, not every draft is going to be like that. Most drafts are going to have 10 good players max. I don't see Swade doing that in a Murphy Reid role after you just had a Murphy Reid. The spot's taken. I don't get it. Either way, you've got Freo at 3. I have Adelaide at 3. I have a lot more faith than you do with Adelaide, it seems. I just see the fact that they seem to have a structure that works well for the most part. I think just the finals ended up being completely different in the sense that, what was the Jared Allen quote from Cleveland?
The lights were too bright.
Exactly right. So hopefully for them, this is a scenario where the Isaac Rankin stuff, he can get over it. It's not much of a problem. That's best case scenario where, sure, it'll probably be brought up every now and then, but things will change. And for the Adelaide Crows, they work out those kinks. It'd be nice to see who steps up.
Never mind.
Who have you gotten to?
Brisbane, the reigning premiers. Listen, what more can I say?
Yeah.
Like, we just know what they're going to be.
Exactly.
We know
right.
how good they're going to be.
Exactly right. There's just, I mean, I'll skip 2 for the moment because I've got Brisbane at 1.
You'll skip 2.
Yeah, because I think
Gold Coast at 2.
It's going to be Queensland dominance this season in 2026. I think it is going to be a Queensland-dominated season. This is purely based off of vibes almost for the Gold Coast pick because the Brisbane pick is so justifiable. It's not even funny. But Brisbane is overloading with talent, literally. Yep. They have top 5 picks who are not going to be getting games or consistent games. Dan Annable will most likely find some time. But Gold Coast, we know, like you said, talent bursting at the seams. And I just don't see how this team doesn't work because, like, if Christian Petrarca isn't working as much in the midfield, okay, you put Touk Miller, who's been working in there, and now Christian Petrarca is working with a brilliant forward line. You got the likes of Jai Farah, Ben Long, who've been absolutely killing it. Hell, if Jamara works out, oh my God, could you believe if that somehow worked out? Ben King, who I think is going to have a fantastic year. And then their backline just continues to get stronger. They got Zeke Euland, who's going to be working a bit off the halfback flank, I'd imagine. Bodie, his brother, not too far behind him. The usuals. The team is unstoppable sometimes. And then, yeah, I think it's just got Queensland domination written all over it this season.
Well, I might not have Queensland dominance, but I do have one of the northern states. Sydney finishes first. Dane Cox brings them almost there.
Sydney's a massive
They finish first.
Sydney's massive.
They needed someone forward of the ball to win a contest, and they finally got one. There's still some questions defensively, but I think for the home and away season, it's not going to be that important to each individual game. I think over the totality of it, when you're going to get Heaney, when you're going to get Warner, when you're going to get Goulden, when you're going to get Papley, when you're going to get McCartan, when you're going to get Blakey, when you're going to get Curnow, so much top-end talent there. You can have Grundy there as well. They will be seriously good.
I mean, that's fair. I just think there's a few too many holes to stop them from being first, but I've got them top 4, so I think they'll be good. But that is way too early. AFL 2026 ladder. That one was a very long one, but we always love discussing these ones because it's exciting to see where they go.
Yep.
We're going to be a bit quicker with our next ones.
Might as well go through premiers, runners-up, and a couple of big storylines that we might think might happen.
Yeah, so for me, my grand finalists, on theme with Queensland domination, Gold Coast versus Brisbane. I think it's going to happen. Gold Coast got their win. I don't think that experience or scared of the bright lights is going to come down to it. I think it's going to be Gold Coast, Brisbane, and Brisbane 3-peat.
I agree with the second half of that. Brisbane 3-peat. However, the runner-up for me is Sydney.
Okay, yeah. Considering you're so high on them in the ladder, I could see it happening. God, a repeat of 2024?
Yeah.
Oh, God. It would be nice to see them get some revenge, though.
Would be no, it wouldn't.
Okay, maybe not then. All right, what are some of your big storylines then?
So I think personally, Adelaide drop off versus the Bulldogs contenders.
Yeah. So your big rises and fallers.
Yeah, my rises and fallers. I think Adelaide have a drop off. I think GWS have a drop off. I think those two, where the conversation around them happens, is going to be interesting. But also the Dogs. In my prediction here, them finishing top 4, I think it would be really interesting to see if people actually now consider them contenders if this were to happen.
And whether the backline narrative kind of flips. Who's going to step up? Because surely someone...
Jed Buslinger, my goat.
My goat! That's why they call him the goat! But that's if Luke Beveridge decides to give him playing time.
Yeah, well, he's not his favourite, so I don't think so. But I can always predict whatever the fuck happens.
Exactly. Way too early. You can't have a go at us. I've just written here Merritt Bickers with the Bombers. He's being professional about it. I had no doubts about him being professional about the stepping down of the captain. I think he knows what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But how does are fans gonna cheer him on as much as they can, try and show him how much they love him? If someone like Sharp or Roby or anything like that,
jokes if he gets booed.
I'd be very shocked if he gets booed, but
he gets booed
if he gets
by both
cheered,
sides.
I'd be very confused by that
Gets booed
as well.
by Essendon fans, gets cheered by Hawthorn fans.
We'll find out. We will find out very soon whether this ends up being a mistake.
Maybe?
This ends up being a mistake or not. Because if Merritt decides to have another go at leaving again, they're getting less value for him. It's just the reality.
We don't know.
Unless, because people were going on about how the picks weren't worth as much this year because of how poor the draft was, which, funny enough, how that narrative goes and decides, it comes in and out whenever they want to. But at the same time, this year's draft coming up presumably will be much more valuable. So who knows, 2 first-round picks this year will be more valuable than 3 next year. Either way, the fact that you could have gotten 3 first picks is just nuts to me. Let's go with our Brownlows. Brownlow predictions here. We'll just go 3, 2, 1, and then honourable mention, and we'll have a discussion about our number 1.
Yeah.
So for me, I've got Caleb Sarong at 3, Nick Dacos at 2, because of course, and Noah Anderson at 1.
Oh.
I think his teammate, after last season, after Noah handed him the jacket to go up, Noah has the jacket put on him. I think he was very hard done by, and now that Matt Rowell has gotten his Brownlow, maybe a bit of that influences whether he gets many votes this time around. You don't know, considering how much flack Matt Rowell got. Oh, not Matt Rowell, but the umps got for giving Matt Rowell so much leniency. Maybe they hold back on giving him the votes. Noah Anderson goes up. I'm just saying.
It could happen. My 3, Zach Butters. My 2,
Don't say Naz.
Nick Dacos.
Yes. Much happier with that.
And then my 1, you just had to steal it from me. Noah Anderson. You just had to steal it from me.
Oh, that's good.
Damn you.
That's fantastic. To make you feel better, my honourable mention was Naz. I think he's going to get a lot of votes.
Okay.
It's just more about whether he becomes down and out the best player on that team, or whether there's people stealing.
My smoky is Errol Goulden.
Yeah.
If I've got Sydney 1, makes sense to have Errol up there.
I see it. Definitely see it. Let's go to the Coleman.
Okay.
Top 3 Coleman. This one was really fun to get stuck into.
Quite like this one.
So again, 3, 2, 1, and then honourable mention. We'll discuss the number 1.
Yeah.
My 3, Riley Thilthorpe.
Charlie Curnow.
My 2, Ben King.
Sam Darcy.
My 1, Sam Darcy.
My 1, Ben King.
Oh, I like it. I like how that turned out. We both have Ben King having a great season, and it's pretty hard to see why he wouldn't, considering the first-class platter he's going to get.
Yeah, that's the thing. All he does is kick goals. All he needs to do is kick goals. He will have Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson, Christian Petrarca, Touk Miller, all kicking the ball to him. What the fuck more could he want?
Exactly.
If he doesn't kick 70 goals, it's almost a bad season.
But yeah, considering how good I think Gold Coast are going to be, he's going to be needed. Hence those 2. But 1, Sam Darcy. I think the talent, and Norton is at the end of the day still going to be a threat. Sam Darcy is going to eat. I think his talent is going to reach a new level.
Might look like me by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Eating that much.
For Dogs fans, I hope not. Either way, he is primed and ready. He's gonna win 1 Coleman in his career.
Yeah,
and I don't see why it wouldn't happen now. I think he's ready for it. My honourable mention, Aaron Cadman. I think he really.
I like it.
I think he makes a
like
big
it.
step this season.
Mine is Mitch Georgiades.
Yeah, you've been
Just
on him.
it depends a lot on how Port do.
Exactly right. Yeah, I guess makes sense for an honourable mention. I think Cadman could just have the biggest rise out of all of them, really. Rising star. Now, this one's really interesting because there's a few second-year players, technically, who are involved, but same thing. 3, 2, 1. Explain your one. Honourable mention. 3.
Jagger Smith.
Jagger Smith. We've both got him going pretty well there. Number 2.
Willem Dersma.
Dyson Sharp.
Okay, I was tossing up between those two as being my second. My number 1, though, this is probably not what a lot of people are expecting. Sid Draper. Don't tell me you've got Sid Draper. There's no way you got Sid Draper.
How the boy is talented, and considering he didn't get to his 10-game mark last season,
he got to 10.
Oh, he got to 10.
He got to 10, so it's still allowed.
That's unbelievable. He is like the best prepared out of anyone for a rising star.
I also
season.
think he has the opening.
Exactly
Adelaide
right.
aren't going to have that midfield spot.
He's got the opportunity. That's why I've got Dyson Sharp so high, because Dyson has got that. He's already mentioned he's got the leadership. He wants to have that leadership role. He's gonna get the opportunities absolutely with this Essendon side. Same goes with Roby and Farrow, really, but I think Roby would maybe be close.
Injured.
My honourable mention is Latrell Pickett.
Okay.
I think there is an opening there for him to make a surprise attempt at going there. And considering how many people were surprised by his 12th selection pick, people are already kind of counting him out a little bit, kind of passing him off as Cozzie's cousin. I think Latrell could potentially create his own name.
I've gone for 2 smokies here. I've gone Lockie Doverston as one who I think will get games. And if North have a good season, I think he'll really work well in that dynamic as a media thing to be able to push.
Please.
But the other one is Lockie Carmichael.
For the Dogs.
For the Dogs.
I like it.
I think if they have a good year, I think he'll pair really nicely alongside Bailey Dale. He's not that key position player that they need, but that also means because he's more of a rebound halfback, he's going to have the ball a lot.
Yep.
So I think that dynamic could work really well.
I really like that. That's a really, really nice pick. All right. Most improved now, top 3. Same as usual. 3, 2, 1. Explain your one. Honourable mention. I've got 4-3. Job Shanahan.
Connor O'Sullivan. I find it really hard to go with second-year players as a breakout or a most improved because of the fact that there's not a whole lot for them to improve off of.
Yep.
It's first year. And also, it's hard to predict second-year Blues. But I really like Shanahan. There's a lot to like about how he plays.
Who was your 3?
Connor O'Sullivan.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're massive on him right now.
I think there's every chance he pushes for an AA spot if Geelong are good. I'll stay on that hill.
Number 2, I've got Judd McVee.
Ooh. Okay.
I like the pickup. I leaned into the idea that it's going to be a nice one, and I think he'll find a really nice ball back to his home state, so maybe a bit of comfortableness there. But he could be something that strengthens their backline already a little bit more. It's just going to be whether he gets the opportunity to. But I think he absolutely will. There's a reason they've picked him up, and so I believe that Judd McVee will make that step.
Okay. Interested that you don't have Fremantle making a huge step in that case, but your 2.
I already said my 2.
Brady Hoff for me.
Still big on Brady Hoff.
Always will be.
Yeah.
I love him.
You
Leadership capabilities defensively.
Brady
or
Hoff
in
at the
midfield.
age of 30. I reckon he's ready for a big one. He's gonna be a forever most improved, I fear. I fear that's going to be him for the rest of his career.
I
But
wouldn't be surprised.
he's still young.
I think he's got the help around him now.
Exactly
so
right.
Should be better.
I reckon we could have the same one here.
I've probably mentioned it in like 3 other episodes before this, so don't you dare.
I'll let you go first.
No, you go first because I want to crash out at you if you do.
My number 1, Harvey Langford.
Okay, thank fuck.
Okay. Harvey Langford, yeah, he's been fantastic in his first season. And considering the opportunity is basically put in his lap for a fantastic second season, I don't see why he doesn't run away with the most improved.
Yeah. My thing, again, as I mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of doing second-year players as most improved or breakouts because the body of work isn't there.
Yep.
But my number 1 most improved is Jasper Fletcher.
Yes. Oh, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
you've been so on it from quotes from the players,
Yep.
from his like his games towards the end of last season. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
He will average over 25 disposals. He will average intercept marks.
He will
per
force
game.
Zorko into retirement.
He will force Kid and Coleman into playing for the Lions VFL team. Jasper Fletcher is going to be a top 5 defender.
Goat watch.
Top 5.
Top 5.
And it's not 5.
Okay. So it could be 4.
Not 4.
Oh God, I'm not going any further than this. I'm not walking into your into your trap. My honourable mention is Bodie Yuland. I think with a system around him, you could see better numbers.
You're going to sound like a bitch here. I think if Charlie Ballard comes back in, he's the one that gets dropped. I think there's just as likelihood he gets dropped to the VFL as he does for you staying in the team.
I think in just how good the group is going to be, I think he sees some genuine improvement if he stays in the team.
Yeah.
But I like the Yuland boys. I think Bodie, I think because his bar has kind of been set low. It's not terribly low, but he wasn't anything outstanding.
Doesn't have a big role. That's all.
Exactly right. I think he could see better results with the system around him. Hence why he's an honourable mention.
That's everything.
You got no honourable mentions?
Oh, my honourable mentions. I am dumb. Charlie Coleman was my one.
Yes.
Yeah, North.
Let's go.
I can't believe I don't think I said this on record, but I've compared him to Jeremy McGovern as a type of player.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say he's going to be Jeremy McGovern. I just said as
his
that
style
bigger body
is like Jeremy McGovern.
Yes, correct.
So, on quote, he said, Charlie Coleman equals Jeremy McGovern, the exact same player.
Jasper Fletcher equals GOAT.
Anyways.
If Ben King doesn't kick 70+ goals, he's a failure. Nick Dacos will continuously finish second in the Brownlow Medal.
Oh, man. But overall, that's it for our way too early 26 predictions. We're going to have more predictions as it comes by in episode 1 for next year when we hit season 2. Thank you so much for everything, for all that's happened. You're going to see more videos over the summer. Don't worry. We're not going to go completely silent. We've got plenty of redrafts and all of that other type of stuff. But I appreciate everyone for listening and supporting everything we've done throughout the year. Of course, if you didn't already, leave a like, subscribe. Once we kick into season 2 proper, we're going to have a lot of fun and you'll see what our regular schedule starts to look like if you came in the draft, because we saw a lot of growth from all that draft stuff. So very much appreciate all of you guys for tuning in with all that. But thank you all so much again, and I'll see you all in season number 2 and on Friday for more of our videos. Cheers, guys.